The following presentation outlines a lesson plan for a sitting volleyball activity that can be incorporated into a high school PE classroom. The objectives of this lesson plan are to get students moving and excited about participating in a fun game that everyone can participate in, as well as practice some fundamental movement skills and integrate some volleyball techniques in a way that everybody can participate. As well, there are some safety considerations to keep in mind, such as ensuring there's adequate spacing between students so that they're not bumping into each other or hitting each other with balls, as well ensuring the equipment is not defective or being used improperly. And finally, ensuring that the gymnasium or playing area is clear of any obstacles or hazards, which would involve just doing a quick sweep of the gym prior to beginning your lesson. For the general setup of this activity, you can ask your students for assistance in setting up the volleyball nets. The net should be as low to the ground as possible, such as a pickleball net setup where the net is touching the ground, because the students will be playing volleyball from a sitting position on the floor. It's a good idea to have some class rules just in general to promote an inclusive environment for your students and make everyone feel welcome and included. Some of these may be being respectful and mindful of others, ensuring that others are able to participate with you, being respectful of the rules of the activities, being patient with others, and helping with setup and cleanup of equipment. When pairing students or putting them in groups, it is important to keep in mind that maybe you want to pair students together who aren't usually partners in activities to promote team building and partnership and inclusivity in your classroom. As well, it is a good idea to maintain similar ability levels between these partners because you want it to be a challenge for both, not too easy for one and too difficult for the other, as that does not promote as effective learning. It is also a good idea to pair students into groups of 3 if you don't have an even number of students, or pair with the TA or yourself to ensure that everyone is included in the activity. This activity begins with a 3-minute shoulder warm-up with balls, which involves the partners just throwing the ball back and forth to each other with their dominant hand. You want to have a variety of equipment here, such as volleyballs, light volleyballs, beach balls, beanbags, brightly colored balls, balls with bells, as well as your low volleyball net setup. But you want to ensure that you have this variety of equipment so that everyone can participate regardless of skill level. The next activity is a serving activity done for 5 minutes in the same pairings, where you will demonstrate how to perform the serve, as well as getting some students to also demonstrate and delivering your instructions verbally, as well as putting your cue words up on the whiteboard perhaps, and making sure that you are repeating them throughout the lesson. Following that, it's a good idea to have a 5-minute bumping activity. While the students may already know the basics of bumping, if this isn't your first volleyball class, it is a good opportunity for them to just practice and work on those skills and developing that muscle memory. It is also a good opportunity to make any corrections and use corrective feedback, as well as try to encourage your students to realize their own errors and correct these themselves. The next activity is a 5-minute setting activity where you can go over the basic skills of setting the volleyball over the net, or the light volleyball, beach ball, whatever equipment your students are using. It's also a good opportunity to add in some more cue words, such as triangle, because your fingertips should be in a triangle, and keeping your fingers relaxed. And this will help your students to remember how to to conduct the technique of setting the volleyball, as well as maybe catch themselves making errors and being able to correct those errors. This 5-minute spiking activity is the same as the previous activities, where you just want to go over the technique, make sure you are delivering all your instructions in multiple mediums through verbal instruction on the board, as well as demonstrations, to ensure that everyone is able to comprehend and see this information in a way that will help them with their learning and execution of the skills. The final activity is a 20-minute sitting volleyball game, or games, depending on the number of students that you have in your class. It's important here to go over the rules and ensure that you have clear set boundaries so that everyone knows where they are in bounds, where is out of bounds, what line you can serve from. It's a good idea, if you want, you can have several serving lines just to accommodate everybody's serving abilities, as well as perhaps you want to have a competitive side and a non-competitive side, or a side using regular volleyballs, one using light volleyballs or beach balls, just to ensure that everyone is getting the most out of the activity. Now that you've successfully completed your sitting volleyball lesson, you will have to do some cleanup and have concluding remarks to make cleanup easier for everyone and share the workload, which helps to promote that inclusive classroom where everyone's participating. We are a team. It's a good idea to have the students help clean up the nets and equipment. Make sure you thank your class for being cooperative, congratulate them on a job well done, and ask for any feedback or improvements that could be made to the activities, something else that they would like to do, a way they would like to make activities more fun or more challenging, or if they're too challenging, make them a little easier. It's good to get this feedback from your students so that you are effectively teaching them the skills that they are trying to learn. Thank you for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed and have a good lesson with your sitting volleyball class.